Hi. Yeah, I just remembered a bunch of really bad, shows I watched, I think late 2000s on Cartoon Network that were just weird rip-offs of the Pokemon anime. Wanna know what I mean? I think there was something called Beyblade where, they made tops fight each other, except you think it was like a sports anime disguised as, a battle anime or whatever, but yeah, I don't want to revisit these ever. I don't remember anything about it beyond some dude called, what was it called? Ryan or whatever his name is got possessed by a top. I found a clip of that and I laughed my ass off. It was unintentionally hilarious. Like Also, I think the whole point of that show was to sell me edgy tops. That was the whole idea. Want to buy my edgy top? No, I don't. Go away. We've actually played with the things in my dad's house. And I think the game is just spin the tops hit each other. The show makes it look epic, but it's actually just kind of like an okay, tabletop game that requires some cheap plastic arena. Tops hit each other, they eventually stop. It sounds like an okay, fun, like, competitive game to play with your friends once or twice. It doesn't sound like a good TV show. What do I define as Pokemon anime ripoff? When it's about anime character man who has the greatest thing and enters some kind of sports fight competition with it. And it's never at all, he never actually fights anyone, he just sends his thing after their thing. No one takes any damage. The last guy they go against is evil or a champion. It's always funnier when they're evil. Then there's Digimon. I researched Digimon a bit because I remembered nothing about it, and apparently it's actually a good show where the characters are good and it's more of an adventure show. It was really good, from what I've heard people say. I watched one episode and it was terrible. The acting sucked. I'll force myself through more of it because it was definitely watchable. But the acting and the animation just sucked. The coloring looked kind of off in a bad way. That's not the art to look at. I'll force myself through it to see if the characters get better. The acting was so undramatic and they all sound bubbly and stuff. On to the Pokemon anime. Everyone felt unnaturally nice in that from what little I remember. But it was adapting the Pokemon games. Fine, whatever. At least your source material and the reason you're doing the fights, your quote unquote battles for the sport, makes sense. Because of the universe it's based on. So I'll give that a pass. Then there's Bakugan, where some dude named Dan threw balls out. The balls turned into these giant mechanical creatures that fought each other. I don't know what plastic bullcrap that's trying to sell me. It's I had some McDonald's toys of it, and I don't remember what exactly that show was, but I was around 5, 6, or 7 when I watched it. I thought it looked epic. I think their names were Dan, Shun, Marucho, Girl 1, Bootleg Hatsune Miku, and I forget the last dude involved. Girl 1 was Alice. Yeah, that's stayed in my memory. It's not the dumbest thing to retain my memory. And then I saw that and I realized, oh no, these shows exist to make children think they look cool to sell the plastic to them. Which is very, very, very disgusting in my eyes. If you make a good show that wants to sell me your dumb plastics, fine, it's a good show. I'll give it a pass, it's a good show, but these weren't good shows. I think I watched a video on Bakugan at some point. Apparently, some of the characters died at the end of one of the story arcs. I'm not gonna watch clips of that. Like, I don't care to. I might force myself through a bit of each of these shows, and properly review them. I kind of want to do that. Then there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Started off as a Japanese black and white comic called a manga, in which some boy called Yugi gets possessed by like a pharaoh and he has to play tabletop games with people. And he plays tabletop games with people. They cheat, they get to a horrible punishment. It was like this weird horror thing. And at some point they parodied some kind of like Magic the Gathering card game. Then there was a long arc about that. Then they made a bad cartoon adaptation of that. And then they made a toned down anime of that. Then they made it even more of the first part of it. Then they made an even more toned down version of it that was just about the cards. That still tried to some extent. Then they toned it down even more when a company called 4Kids dubbed it and made the age rating go from teens to young children. Well, how is this a ripoff? Simple. It is a young spiky hair boy with some kind of ultra power game piece enters the game competition, has to win the competition against Evil Man. I think he put his grandpa on a card and it went on for 5 episodes, and I don't want to watch it ever because that sounds like torture. I remember the guy at random when looking at Sephiroth and Smash Ultimate. Everyone I've been able to research, the show is also not good in the dub. If I ever want to experience Yu-Gi-Oh, I'll just buy the translated manga and then read that. Because the dubbed anime is so far off from the source material, it's kind of funny to think about. Is there anything else? I think Digimon Fusion was actually pretty bad from what I've heard, but it's not a Pokemon ripoff. It's just bad because it's a bad show. When I've heard it's childish and not good. I think it had better action than the original. I don't remember much about either. I just want to consider making a video on this across this whole year. I decided, you know, why not make a video discussing this topic? It'd be a fun thing to discuss. Got like 8-ish minutes out of it. Close enough. I don't think these shows were that good. Like, because they're effectively toy ads that, to some extent, that copy the formula of the Pokemon anime. Some of which were based on a good source material that were not good. Some of which were these wanted to sell me a bunch of weird tabletop games I don't want to play, like ever. I also remember an episode of the Pokemon anime where a gym leader had like vine powers. That was probably just another ripoff of it, I don't know. Like, again, I can at least respect the Pokemon anime on some level, because it's adapting the Pokemon games. Fine, whatever, this makes sense, you're adapting a source material. The others, it's like, no, stop it. Stop making this. This is a waste of time. This is a waste of television time. I don't know what you're thinking. With these, I don't know, it's like, I don't think these are like I don't have any nostalgia for them, because I barely remember them, and from what I remember of them, they genuinely sound like they'd be some of the least fun things to watch ever. Could not find reviews on them properly. They're all, hey, remember this thing I'm nostalgic for? I'm with my childhood, man. The Jenga board game, man, and his Pegasus top. Cool, lovely. This show sounds awful. I don't want to watch it, ever. And then at some point he fought the devil. but he just wasn't even sending his top at the devil. He sent it at the devil's top, which somehow defeated the devil. How does that work? This is not a JoJo fight. This is just two tops hitting each other that don't share pain between the owners of the tops. How the hell does that work? I don't get it. I don't want to rewatch it to know how, because I have better things to do in my life, like anything else really. Okay, I might review these all later on. Don't count on it.